Lesson 21, if, then, else. In this lesson, we're going to take the concept introduced in the last lesson and make it even more powerful and flexible using the statements else, if, and else. Let's get started. All right, so I have a data set here, interested in the product code in column B. I need to take data and move the revenue from column E to the appropriate column. If the product code is A or B, I want it to move it to column F. If the product code is C or D, I want to move it to column G. And the service plan, the product code Z, I want to move out to column H. All right, so let's take a look at the code that we would use to do this. Of course, just like before, we're going to start out with an if statement. So we say if, actually let's add a new variable. This prod equals cells this row, comma 2, because it's coming from the second column. Yep, that's good. So we can say if this prod is equal to A, then, well, what do? We're going to take that revenue amount and copy it out to column F. So we'll say cells this row, comma 6, dot value equals this amount. All right. And that's kind of like what we did in the last statement. But we have other options. And so I'm going to start here in the next line. I'm going to copy this line. And in the next line, start with the word else and then paste. Else if this product is equal to B. Well, if it's equal to B, we're going to go to the exact same spot. So we'll paste that line in. And now that I have these two lines, I can actually copy these two lines several times. Paste, paste, paste. And now we just need to edit the code. So else if it's a C, then we go to column 7. Otherwise, if it's a D, we go to column 8. And if it's a Z, well, if we know that there's only 4 possible products, A, B, C, D, or Z, we can actually just say else. That means if anything else happens here, then it's going to go out to column 9. And again, we still have to finish this whole big thing up with end if. End if. So let's do a quick little test here. We are in a row with product C. And when we run this a single line at a time, what we should see is that it skips over the statement for A because it's not an A. It's not a B, so it's going to skip over it. And here, when I press F8, because the product that we have is a C, we should then run that line of code, which will move the revenue out to column 7. From there, once it finds one that is true, it jumps right down to the end if and continues with the macro. So what we should see is that the product revenue ended up in column G, which is the CD. Okay, so now let's go on to row 3 and we'll run this again. This time, if we check and see what we have for this prod, we have the letter D. So not true there, not true there, not true there. This one should be true. And we end up coming down. Oh, I see a bug. This actually should be writing to column 7. And this one here should be writing to column 8. Notice that I was able to make that change right here in debug mode. And let's take a look here. Perfect. Went to the right spot. Let's try one that's a Z. So in this case, we start to run it. Not true, not true, not true. And finally, else, we'll write it out to column 8. Good, so it's going to the right spot. So now, we could just pretty much fly through this running the macro. Control S and down arrow back and forth, and very quickly categorize all of this revenue using the if, else if, else if, else if, else, and then end if construct. A very flexible way to go. You can have as many different options in there as you would need to. And again, each one could run not just a single line of code, but several different lines of code. Very powerful command that you find that you'll end up using a lot as you start to use VBA. Now, it's perfectly acceptable to use if, else if, else if, else if, and so on. In the next lesson, though, we're going to take a look at something completely different called select case. And you'll see that select case is actually a much shorter way to go. So I hope you found this lesson helpful, and thanks for watching.
Looking to advance your career by acquiring new skills? Tired of expensive off-site training programs? Wish you could learn from the best instructors in the industry? Look no further than live lessons. Self-paced, personal video instruction by the world's leading technology publishers. Each live lesson comes with a DVD featuring 3 to 4 hours of instructor-led classroom training, sample program code that allows you to work along with your personal instructor, and an example-rich study guide. Live lessons allow you to watch the entire course from start to finish, or navigate directly to any of the individual lessons. You'll literally watch over the shoulder of your instructor as he shows you how to build state-of-the-art applications. Live lessons, the power of the world's leading technology experts at your fingertips. To learn more, visit mylivelessons.com today.